next is our purpose of our study for this project is we are studying how climate change disrupt predator-prey relationship and species competition, and how these changes affect the ecosystem. And what methodology that we use is we use a combination of data analysis and also field observation to understand the impact of climate change on wildlife. And based on our findings, our research shows that climate changes causes species to migrate at the wrong times. Then in this, alter their reproduction cycles and also increase the risk of extinction for a lot of species, many species. And based on our discussion, we suggest that conservation strategies like protecting habitats and helping species to adapt to these changes, also to reduce disruptions and also protect the biodiversity. And what is the contribution from our study is this study supports global effort to protect ecosystem and also biodiversity in the face of climate change.
Introduction. Climate change is one of the biggest challenges of our time, causing major disruption to ecosystem and threatening biodiversity. Rising temperature, changing rainfall pattern, and habitat loss are throwing predator-prey relationship and species interaction out of balance. This lead to ecological problem and loss of biodiversity. Human activities like deforestation, pollution, and urbanization are making these things worse, leaving many species struggling to adapt or survive. Ecosystems like grassland, coastal region, and high altitude areas are especially vulnerable, with the key services like pollination, water purification, and carbon storage being affected. So this study focuses on climate change impact, predator-prey dynamic, competition between species, and biodiversity. It also explores ways to protect ecosystem and support Sustainability Development Goal 13 climate action. By understanding this issue, we can develop strategy to preserve biodiversity and build stronger and more resilient ecosystem. So for Article 1, climate change disrupt ecosystem through rising temperature, alter rainfall, and extreme weather, lead to species migration, adaptation, and extinction. Vulnerable ecosystems like coral reef and wetland are high risk. Biodiversity loss threaten vital services like water filtration, food, and oxygen production. Climate change also worsen pollution, deforestation, and invasive species, weakening ecosystem. Solutions include restoration, emission reduction, and wildlife corridor to protect biodiversity. So, for the Article 2, climate change disrupt predator-prey relationship by altering temperature, precipitation, and seasonal timing. Prey may shift breeding or migration pattern, but predator fail to adjust, causing food shortage. Warmer temperature increase predator metabolism, rising food demand, while prey decline or migration create resources scarcity. In marine ecosystem, rising ocean temperature disrupt food chain by shifting predator and prey distribution. Climate-induced range shift may lead to new unpredictable predator-prey interaction. So, for the Article 3, rising sea temperature reduce marine predator sizes in Southern Ocean. For every 1 degree Celsius rise in sea surface temperature, predator-prey mass ratio decrease by 11%, with predator shrinking about 6%. Prey size remain unchanged. Smaller predator weaken top-down control over prey population, reducing ecosystem stability. This study highlights the need for further research to guide conservation and management effort in warming marine ecosystem.
Our problem statement is the issue was climate change is disrupting predator-prey dynamics and also increasing competition between species. And what is the impact? Basically, this is destabilizing ecosystem and threatening biodiversity, and which could harm vital service like food and also clean water. And what is the contributing factors for this is basically number 1 is rising temperatures causing by habitat loss and also pollutions. These are the main factors for causing these disruptions. And what is the consequence of this problem? Without action, ecosystem could collapse, and this will lead to loss of biodiversity, which will negatively affect human societies.
Hello everyone, my name is KHALEESA binti AHMAD, and today I will discuss the research question and objectives guiding our study on the effects of climate change on ecosystem. For research question, first, we explore how climate change affects the balance between predators and their prey. For example, we investigate if changing temperatures reduce prey availability or alter predator hunting behaviors. Next, we ask what happens to ecosystem when predators move to new areas due to climate change. This migration can disrupt local species, creating imbalance and new competition. Finally, we examine which species and habitats are most vulnerable to the combined effects of climate change, habitat loss and pollution. From this, we aim to identify conservation strategies that can protect them. Our objective: to address these questions, our first objective is to investigate changes in predator-prey dynamics caused by climate shifts. Secondly, we aim to analyze the impact of these disruptions on overall ecosystem stability, including the risk posed by species migration. Lastly, we seek to assess the threats to biodiversity by identifying the most at-risk species and designing strategies to mitigate these challenges. By focusing on these objectives, we aim to provide a clearer understanding of how climate change affects ecosystems and inform effective conservation efforts.